কিছুদিন মনে মনে ঘরের কোণে স্বামীর পীড়িত রাগ গোপনে কিছুদিন মনে মনে ছড়াই কইবি কথা গঠে মাঠে
Join us in a journey through the lives and mysteries of the Baul people of West Bengal, India. Their teachings through music and their love for all life.
Baul songs are called Mahajanpad, the song of the great souls. And it is something that came from the consciousness when they're in deep relationship with the divine. So Baul song is not a mere poetry. It's a Mahamantra, because these songs are written from the very a state of awareness and a state of bhav, we call it bhav, where this soul is elevated into a higher consciousness, into the unity of the divine, and at that moment he had this expression through words and through music. So that is very pure. It's not just creation. It is of course a creation, but it goes beyond creation, because there is no presence of mind. The only presence of this pure existence that is there in the song. So when we utter those songs or we sing those songs, we are actually doing an invocation of those vibrations in our body and the one who is listening.
India was the 8th spoke of the 12 countries of my world journey. It was part of a vision of oneness, and part of what I feel is my life work.
The world wheel and this world family is my way of entering into society with my own priorities, with this vision of oneness in everything. And since I am an artist, someone else may find another form and enter the world as a doctor, as a politician, and certainly affect the world in a very profound way. I happen to be an artist, and so I've chosen an art, the theater and sculpture, as a way of being, a way of communicating this idea, a way of interacting with my family, with my world family. And I use these 3 questions that I ask in every country, a way of immediately getting deep into people's thinking, into the problems that people are dealing with, and listening to their solutions, being a vehicle for their voice to be heard in a global fashion through the world wheel.
After arriving in West Bengal, India, I took a train to Shantiniketan. On this train, I could hear folk singers in the distance. When they came to my compartment, I kept giving them coins so that they would keep singing. They were the Baul Minstrels, and they invited me to their village. They found a hut for me to live in. A few days passed, but I couldn't see myself creating a sculpture. They had beautiful village sculptures. Then I realized the children didn't have a schoolhouse, and many of the wandering Baul minstrels didn't have a place to live. I was offered a space to create a community house. I started working, mixing the adobe with my feet. Together, we built a place where the village could gather in ceremony. Children could study, and the Bauls could practice and teach their music. This would be a prayer that this humble structure, this offering we made, would be a source of great love and unity, bringing together any divisions that existed in community through the power of a round community house, through the power of music. Now, 30 years later, my heart just drew me back to India. It seemed like part of my soul was left here, and I needed to come back and find that other part of myself that had been preserved somehow in the songs of the Bauls. So come with me, and we will have this wonderful journey together. I am so thrilled to reunite with my Baul family of Vasudevs at long last.
ওর নাম পাপিয়া ও বিদেশেই থাকে গান বাজনা করে
How are you?
I am fine. Oh, English. And to enter the Baul ashram, where 30 years ago we all mixed the mud for the walls of this small round building that has become a thriving community, filled with the beautiful music of the Baul people and their love for all humanity. Music master Basudev was born in a very poor village, and at the age of 5 started singing at tea shops to bring in pennies for the family. Eventually he fell in love with the minstrel Bauls that frequently came through the village. So at the age of 13, he left his family to become a Baul, living, traveling, and learning from their minstrels, among whom he had many gurus. Now the ashram is overflowing with Basudev's students from all corners of the world. They have come from Bangladesh and India, France, Sweden, Netherlands, Norway, and many other countries. When I first knew him, he was just a young, struggling Baul. All life is embraced by the Bauls. All cultures, all religions, and all castes. Most have never gone to school and live a very simple village way of life. But they use every act in cooking, washing, singing, and dancing as worship of God. Being unconventional in their dress and spontaneous in their acts, they had to hide their Tantra traditions of worship and beliefs and metaphor to deflect criticism. Considered untouchables by the caste system because they insisted on eating with untouchables, they were looked upon as outcasts until the turn of the 20th century. When Rabindranath Tagore, their beloved poet of Bengal, recognized them as the true mystics of India, he was inspired by the Bauls, lifeways, and songs, and many of his poems and writings were highly influenced by them. Basudev's guru and mentor Darshan Goswami has just arrived at Basudev's ashram to stay for a few days with him and family.
যে তুমি কেন দুঃখী, তোমার আছে পিতৃধন। তাহলে পিতৃধনটি কি? যেই ধনটি আছে বলে ব্যথা, বেদনা, জ্বালা, যন্ত্রণা, হ্যাঁ, আপনজন, প্রিয়জন, ভালোবাসা, প্রেম, প্রীতি, ভালোবাসা সব কিছু আমাদের আছে। সেই বস্তুটাকে জানার জন্য যে ধনটা আমার জীবভাণ্ডে আছে, ক্ষিতি অপ তেজ মরুদ্বম, পঞ্চভূত হইতে দেহভাণ্ডটি তৈরি হয়েছে। হ্যাঁ, 5টা বস্তুর মিলনে এই ভাণ্ডটি, মানে দেহখানা, ভাণ্ডেতে ব্রহ্মাণ্ড আছে দেখলে দেখা যায়। তাহলে ভাণ্ডের ভিতর ব্রহ্মাণ্ড আছে অতি সূক্ষ্মাণুসূক্ষ্ম রূপে। হ্যাঁ,
It is so easy for children to learn their music. Varsha is practicing here a song which she will later perform with Basudev's performing group. What a privilege to start learning at 9 months old. No wonder that the whole family are skilled musicians with a passion that is born in them.
আমার রাধারে কানাই বিনা নীল যৌবনে যোগিনী রাধা যৌবনে যোগিনী রাধা।
It was so exciting to now have a space for children's classes in the village. I had brought quality acrylic paints and watercolor paper from the States for art classes. It made me so happy for the children to have a place, to thrive. Some of Basudev's adult students were there, including a couple from France and a woman from the Netherlands. I told them, if you find that child within you, please come and join the class. All you have to do is put paints and materials in front of children. They all are naturally amazing artists. Children are born creative and expressive. There is always singing in the Baul ashram. Students come and go. Many people from Calcutta come to study with Basudev or come to just hang out in the creative, spiritual atmosphere of this family. Almost every evening, Basudev and the Bauls pour into my room, bringing their instruments and singing until late at night. In my spare time, I practice the instruments with Basudev's instructions. The ektara and dugi are played together and are their most traditional and my favorites. The ektara, meaning one string, has one string fastened to a gourd resonator at the bottom and a bamboo support stick at the top. Its form represents the Baul's view of life, that all are one. The dugi is a small hand drum, which is tied around one shoulder and the waist when dancing, and both instruments are played together. Then there's the beautiful dotara, an early version of a banjo lute, with a swan head at the top of the neck. Basudev was excited to take me to another village so that I could meet other Baul musicians. I love these rickshaw rides through the villages, seeing people in the fields, seeing the children playing and women washing their hair and clothes in the ponds which lie at the heart of every village. The Bauls offer their songs to the villagers as a teaching. And they wait at their door, enjoying and being inspired by the music and the loving energy of the Bauls. When the music stops, they come out and make their offerings. Each villager considers it an honor to do so. Some prostrate on the ground before the Bauls in honor of them and to receive their blessings.
হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল জয় গুরু সব সুখে থাকো ভালো থেকো শান্তি যেন আমরা আসতে পারি ওম শান্তি সব শান্তি হোক
শান্তি শান্তি The Bauls are often invited to festivals to play their music. We are invited to a village where an art festival is being held.
Hello, hello, hello.
Basudev and his group create amazing music that goes on through the evening. These villagers and young Bengal students ask again and again for encores as they dance and dance into the night. What a joyous time. Vasudev wants to take me to another village to meet an old childhood friend and to experience the amazing music of this community.
জন্ম পিতা গুরু আমার পারে গুরু কে গো জন্ম পিতা গুরু আমার পারে গুরু কে
I learned that this is a commune with many families who all share the responsibilities of day-to-day life so that everyone can prosper. A good example of community working together. So encouraging. We are left with this gift of beauty in our hearts. Lalan Fakir composed hundreds of songs that inspired Rabindranath Tagore and many philosophers, poets, and social thinkers. Lalan Fakir's philosophy of humanity rejects all distinctions of caste, class, and creed, and takes stand against theological conflicts and racism. It denies all worldly efforts in search of the soul.
সব লোকে কয় লালন কি জাত এই সংসারে সব লোকে কয় লালন কি জাত এই সংসারে লালন বলে না এই নজরে সব লোকে কয় লালন কি জাত এই সংসারে সব লোকে কয় লালন কি জাত এই সংসারে সুন্নতি দিলে হয় মুসলমান নারীর তবে কি হয় বিধান
Back in Shantiniketan, one day when Basudev and I were enjoying a walk together, he told me, "The house you built with and for us in 1991 is now bursting with students. I have over 300 students just from the local villages around here. And now that so many people come to me to learn our Baul music from Calcutta, Europe, and other countries, my dream is to have a Baul school for them and for my grandchildren." Basudev shows me this small piece of land which someone gave to him some time ago. Over here, he points, is where the Baul school will be. Over here, I say, is a round house as a sacred space to practice and meditate. Over here, he says, we'll have the traditional Tulsi shrine. And I respond, under the Tulsi shrine, we'll bury the sacred earth which I gathered from every whirlwill country to connect this site with other sacred sites around the world. Yes, the world family is growing like a tree, spreading her limbs toward the vast sky. In the Shantiniketan area now, I'm invited to spend the day with Parvati Baul at her Baul ashram called Sanatan Siddhashram. It is the embodiment of the vision of her guru, Sri Sanatan Das Baul. It is a space for spiritual practice and learning. From the Indian government, she has been given the 2019 Sangeet Natak Academy Award for her contribution to the ancient Baul traditions. She is the one now who is taking the Baul philosophy into the world. She has students in many countries and lectures at universities and performs the Baul music and dance worldwide. I'd like you to speak to the world, explaining the real core of the Baul philosophy.
So with all my pranam to my gurus, and with their permission, I would like to say that Baul is a very old practice, which is a yogic practice, and there are two streams in Indian practice, spiritual path. One path is with the text, and they have a clear doctrines and clear method where a person becomes a teacher, acharya, and they can pass on in a very specific way. And there is another school that is without text, which is from the experience and transmission. That is the school, the path of the mystics. And if we go back, then we see that Baul origin from this school of the mystics or the textless people. So the Baul transmission, it's a transmission, and it is also an experience with the body, with the human body. So when I asked my Guruji that who was the first Baul, and he said it was Shiva. And if you look at Shiva, is the first Guru, because he started, the Guru Purnima is the day when he started teaching the Saptarishi, the 7 stars, the saints, the 7 saints. And so how he taught was oral. He transmit the knowledge by speaking to them. So the Baul way of transmission is also the Guru, impart his knowledge. So it has been a oral tradition through speaking. And even the song, how it is received or how it is composed in the Baul culture or Baul practice, many of the masters, that they didn't even read and write. So, but they were composing like hundreds of songs, and their students were, by-hearting by listening, or some of them were writing it down. That's how we get the Baul songs today. So this is the basic transmission of the Baul. That's how they transmit this vibration, because the whole world, is nothing but vibration, the energy.
Yes.
And the sound holds the energy. So the Baul worked with this Shakti or the energy that comes from this vibration, the transmission. So when you listen to a Baul song, somewhere you feel as if your heart opened, or something that touches you deeply. It doesn't matter whether you understand the language or not, but the joy or the depth, that's something that you also have, it touches. So then maybe that is what is the transmission. Because cannot be anything that we cannot experience. Everything has to be experienced. Otherwise, how do we know? So that is the transmission, and that's what we experience when we listen to a Baul song. And the singer, through singing many years and repetition of this vibration, they are able, I'm just saying that this song has this potential which creates this, takes this person from where they were to a much more grown up and more aware person, or more into more wisdom. And the transformation does happen in the mind, in the consciousness, in the body, just by singing these songs. So for Baul, the song has become the practice. There are many layers of practice in the Baul, because one has to prepare the inner being so that they can hold. It has to be the right vessel which holds the right thing. So that's why Baul has to prepare their body to hold this experience. And Baul is always talking about, to bring down. Everything is here. That we don't have, not God is not somewhere we have to go up and hold it, but he has to come down. So how they became one is that the Krishna exists in everything, in every form. So all are one. So this is why the Guru path, that my human form is the divine form. This, what do we have is except this body. As long as we have the body, we have the experience, we have the life. The moment the body falls, Atma or the soul, it travels. The soul has no name. The soul has no identity. The soul is just a traveler.
I remember when I first met Purnadas Baul Samrat in 1995. He and his wife Manju were living in their home in Calcutta. Purnadas is the son of the famous Nabini Das Kappa Baul, who was befriended by the beloved Bengali poet, philosopher, and Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. Purnadas was born in 1933 and grew up to become the most famous Baul singer and to lead his tradition into the wider world of music. In 1965, he toured the United States for 8 months, when in 1984 he met and performed with Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, and the poet Allen Ginsberg, and many other artists of that period, bringing the Baul music to an international audience. This opened the gateway for other Bauls to follow him beyond India. I had been invited through a mutual friend to live and travel with Purnadas for several months. During this time, I became his disciple and not only studied Baul songs from Purnadas, or Baba, as I learned to call him. Baba taught me the Baul sadhana, practices of pranayama, breath control, meditation, and love for all life. We participated in the Baul Jai Deb Kenduli Mela and other festivals, meeting amazing mystic sadhus. At that time, Purnadas and Manju maintained an ashram in Shantiniketan and hosted a Baul Mela festival every year. I enjoyed helping with the food preparation offered to all who attended. Some of the great Baul singers are Sufi practitioners of the mystical tradition of Islam.
আকাশেতে দেখে সকলে খোদা দেখে কয় বনে কেন জিজ্ঞাসিলে দেখায় আসমানে জিজ্ঞাসিলে দেখায় আসমানে।
Sufi Bauls, Vaishnava Bauls, and sadhus from all parts of India. I love them all. The more far out and interesting, the better. I felt that I had finally found my place on this planet. Here in the Bauls world, all behaviors are accepted. The word Baul means mad. Yes, they are mad, but mad for godliness. Their love for humanity is boundless and lived out every day in the smallest acts of kindness and acceptance.
Yeah.
Purnadas, I'm so happy to be back here in India, in your home. And after 20 years,
Sure.
and to be back in your life. And I would love so much if you would tell us what is the very core philosophy of the Bauls and of your own self and heart.
বাহ, good. বাউল হচ্ছে
Baul's main philosophy is to search the inner peace of a human being, the inner self of the human being, which is present in all human beings. Baul singers or Bauls, the lyrics, the main meaning of the lyrics is the sadhanas. They don't write it down on a piece of paper or diary to store it, so they preach it through songs. They preach the whole lyrics, the sadhana through songs.
গানের সঙ্গে সঙ্গে
Through this preaching, they go to a certain different word, which through meditation, by which they preach the songs and the lyrics, and they tell us to find the inner peace of the human being.
গান গাইতে গাইতে তার জন্য বলেছে আমাদের গানের মধ্যে
There was a famous Baul song sung by Vivekananda to the great Ramakrishna Dev, which said that if you know inside you,
রূপসাগরে আমার
if you know in yourself, you can find all the valuables, priceless jewels and jewelries which you don't have to go otherwhere to search.
সেই ভক্তি আমি গাইতে
He started singing in villages, in towns, small trains, cities. Now he's traveled around 150 countries in the world by doing this only Baul songs. The main sadhana of Baul is to love each other, to spread love, which he says that if one can love himself or herself, then he can love everybody. So the main thing he says is that people should know that human beings are not enemies. They are friends. They should live as friends.
Thank you so much. I do feel that these words are what are needed right now in the world.
Women Bauls are coming forward with a commitment to preserve their ancient Baul tradition. In 2020, Purnadas Baul introduced me to Farida Parveen, who is one of the most famous women singers of the Baul songs of Lalan Fakir, the great Baul Sufi poet.
জংলা কবু পোষ মানে না আমি তবে প্রেম করতাম না আমি তবে প্রেম করতাম না লালন ফকির কেঁদে কয় লালন।
The role of Baul women is very significant in preserving and continuing Baul music and culture. From the earliest beginnings of the Baul tradition, women have been an important part of their sadhana, their spiritual practice. Today, even more so, women are carrying the message of the Baul tradition of love and unity for all creation forward into a wider world. I feel that by exposing more people to the Baul's music, which expresses their love and acceptance of all people and life, no matter what religion or caste, that the content of the songs can inspire those of our confused world
আরে রান্না শালে কাঁদবি বসে ভিজে কাঠ দিয়ে উনুনে। So for me, I feel bhakti is the seed in people. কিছুদিন মনে মনে ঘরের কোণে শ্যামের পীড়িতে রাগ গোপনে। If that comes from any path, whether it is Christian or Muslim or Hindu or a Baul or anything, it's through this true surrender one will know the true meaning of life. And true meaning of my being here. And how can I hate somebody?
The Bauls are a vital example to a torn world. They accept and live in harmony with people from all religions and walks of life. Through their beautiful minstrel songs and lifeways, they spread a message of love and inclusiveness. They see the body as a true temple and God as residing in everything and everyone, which they call Manir Manush, the inner man of the heart.
And for me, my solution is bhakti. If we can cultivate bhakti within, a surrender within to the divine, then I think we will slowly lose this conflict and this violence that we are applying on each other.
In the end, this film is a plea to humanity to love one another, to honor thy neighbor as thyself. It is my sincere hope that through the Bauls' lifeways and the meaning and vibrations in their music and songs, that it can awaken that peace within us, bringing a love into our own lives and a peace into our world.
বসন্ত